It's always handy to catch a unicorn on radio. So if you're out there and you love your timeshare, call in. The phone number is 888-825-5225. When I started this radio show 30 years ago, we set out to do the same thing we do today, and that was help you. We want you to win. We want you to get out of debt, become prosperous, be unreasonably generous and outrageously generous. We don't want you to get ripped off. And so anything that is ripping you off has become my enemy over the years. And the more it rips you off, the more vocal I am about it, and the more that industry hates me. I mean, literally hates me. And so, for instance, when I go off on payday lenders, which I do frequently because they're absolute scum, they take advantage of and oppress the poor. 800% interest. If you're a payday lender, your grandmother should be ashamed of you. Your mother should be ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you. You should stop it. You're ripping people off. If you're a whole life agent, you should stop it. If you lease cars, you should stop it. If you sell timeshares, for God's sakes, go get a good job. Leave. So joining me for this hour for a couple of segments are some folks from a company called the Newton Group. Gordon Newton is with us. He's the president and founder of the Newton Group. He has been helping people with timeshares get out of timeshares since 2003. So about the last 2 decades, he's watched this scummy industry evolve. And his head legal counsel with their private law firm, Michelle Cumberland, is with us as well to address this from a legal standpoint to make sure that Gordon and I stay in the road. Welcome, you two. Good to have you.
Thanks for having us, Dave. Appreciate it.
And thanks for fighting the fight on behalf of people who can't stand up to this billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
Yeah, people need help. They don't have to go it alone. And I tell people they're not alone either. We just recently conducted a timeshare exit study of over 9,000 surveys, and the results are pretty shocking.
Yeah, I mean, we actually did some research with Ramsey research team here. It wasn't as large a sample size as you did, and we gathered up. Ours was more of a survey, and yours was more of a study. So yours has got better research technique to it and more in depth. But I mean, the thing that you find, 97% of timeshare owners surveyed said they experienced deceptive trade practices. What industry stays open when 97 out of 100 people say they tried to screw me? How does this work?
Well, I'll tell you, this isn't a group survey. These people take the questions at home individually, and it would have been shocking had 50% of it came back and said, you know what, we experienced lies and unfair sales practices. 50% would have been a lot. 97% is really shocking, and there is a problem there, and it stems from how these things are sold.
One of the attorneys that we talk to in the industry calls it legalized fraud.
Well,
and that's his words, and I kind of like them. And so, but as we, you go through the study and you understand how deceptive this is, and then how stuck people are. By the way, if you guys want to see a copy of the study, just go to timesharetruth.com, and you can see the study of 9,000 actual timeshare owner experiences. In case you're having a weak moment, George Camel, and you might want to go and visit a timeshare place in order to get a free vacation, don't go get in the tiger cage. Now, if you don't know what the tiger cage is, this is something I dreamed up. I just made it up because it's a metaphor. But if you ever go in one of these pressure tactics things where they lock you in a room and won't let you out until you buy their timeshare in order to get free tickets to the water park, in order to get a free stay at their little half-butt hotel that they call a condo. And it's just nasty. And basically, it's like going to the zoo, and the zoo manager says, if you will go in the tiger cage and sit with the tiger for 1 hour, we will give you free zoo passes for a year. However, I need to warn you that the tiger's not been fed in a week and a half, and he likes people meat. He wants to eat you. And you say, oh, for free zoo tickets, I can manage the tiger, and you go sit with the tiger for an hour. Well, most people get eaten. That's what it amounts to. They come out of it, and Michelle, by the time they get in your all's office and they're talking to you about the legal aspects of this, you start to hear how bottled up and pressured they were.
Oh, I do. And from a legal perspective, the problem really starts from the very beginning with that legal binding contract. I'd like to invite, those people that have a points membership with a timeshare to go actually look at their contract. It'll say on there, I purchase, let's say, 15,000 points. but it doesn't tell you anything in the contract of what you're getting for those points. It doesn't say that you get a 1-bedroom, that you can go at this time of year, or that you can have a rental car with your points. Or instead, what it says is you're buying 15,000 points. The terms of how you can use these points are in some external document. You agree to bind yourself to that external document. And oh, by the way, we can amend it whenever we want to. And so we hear all the time clients coming in and say, I was told that I could use my points to pay my maintenance fees, or I could use my points to get a rental car.
Or I could go any time of the year I wanted to go. Or I could go to a different location or whatever.
Exactly.
And all of that turns out to be a lie.
Well, as soon as they call the resort and try to make those types of reservations and use their points in that manner, they're told, oh, our terms have changed. And oh, guess what? According to your contract, you're bound to whatever amendments they make. And that's why it's so difficult for attorneys like me to bring those claims of fraudulent inducement and misrepresentations, because what's the court going to say? Well, what's in the four corners of your document? What's in your contract? Does it say in your contract that you can use points for maintenance fees? Does it say, well, the sales agent told me I could do that? Well, but it doesn't say it in your contract.
So let me ask you something. I'm just curious. I mean, give me a 30-second answer, because I just got curious from my old business law class that I took back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. A contract that references something outside the contract that can be unilaterally changed, how is something that can be unilaterally changed by one party, in other words, another party doesn't have to give permission, how is that a binding contract?
So one of the things that we can do in the United States is we can contract just about anything, right? And so in your contract, it actually says these are the documents that govern the terms of your agreement, and you agree and understand that we can amend these
So we
terms.
get everything, including your money, and we decide what we're going to give you, and you're signing and you're agreeing to that.
Exactly.
Just to get out of the tiger's cage.
Absolutely.
And it's completely binding in that regard.
It is. And so it makes it very difficult for attorneys like myself when a client comes in and says, I was bold-faced lied to, and I want you to do something about it. But unfortunately, if it's not written in the contract, it's very difficult for us to bring those claims. It's a he said, she said argument.
And now we're arguing with a timeshare salesman who you can tell they were lying if their mouth was moving. Oh my gosh. The Newton Group joins me as part of our Timeshare Suck theme hour. Gordon Newton, Michelle Cumberland, and we'll be answering your questions and taking your calls about timeshare. So go ahead and call in now, 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show. Timeshares Suck theme hour. Just because I believe in clarity, so we want you to understand exactly what we're talking about here. Stay away from them, avoid them. If you haven't, then you need to try to exit, is what it's called in the timeshare world. Exiting a timeshare is very difficult. Many of the companies have been run out of business by the timeshare business, by the billion-dollar timeshare industry, suing and suing and suing and suing and suing, and the legal fees just run them out of business. Even if they're successful exiting people. A company that's been around since 2003 is the Newton Group, and their website, if you want to read the study results that they have of 9,000 people that they studied that are actual timeshare owners and their experiences. You can get it at timesharetruth.com. If you're stuck in a timeshare and you want out, they may be able to help you. They may not be able to help you. Some of these situations are different than others. They're all different than each other. And some of them are easier to convince the timeshare company to let you go, let my people go, and some of them are dadgum near impossible. So no promises, but check out what they do, their business model, and how they work with the law firm, the partner law firm that's filed numerous lawsuits and arbitration demands on behalf of timeshare clients, also at timesharetruth.com. Now, so the industry Gordon, has, in my mind, I've watched Hilton buy Diamond and run Mikey off. Mikey Flasky was the head timeshare salesman there. He and I got into it on Twitter several times.
Yeah.
Guy's a scumburger. And I just don't want to be unclear today. But Hilton now is in the business big time. We were a little shocked they actually closed on that deal because they generally are a pretty good company, but they have really brought in a barrel of fish hooks there. Then, we've got the Queen of Versailles, David, was his last name David?
Siegel.
Yeah, yep. that mess. That whole, these guys, some of the things, the sophistication of it has evolved, and the way that they sell it, and even their legal documentation has evolved over the 20 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, just in the consumer's guide alone, and you can see this too. Michelle referenced it earlier. You're not just agreeing to the terms that might be in that 15-page contract. They often reference other agreements. Now this is just an example taken from one public offering statement. Again, this is in the consumer's guide. You can see it yourself, but it literally says that weeks are offered for sale for personal use and enjoyment only and should not be purchased by any prospective purchaser for resale or as an investment opportunity or with any expectation of achieving rental income, capital appreciation, or any financial return or valuable benefit.
So these things have no value, and we said it in the consumer guide.
Well, that would be nice to know, right, when you went in, or even a part of that contract. But this is something this is language that's taken from a public offering statement that's 249 pages in length.
Yeah, and the consumer's not going to read that when he's in the tiger cage.
No,
he just signs it. Just anything, let me out of here.
Right.
So, Michelle, what is the times that you're able to be successful getting someone out, exiting them? What is the is it trade secret to tell how you do that, or what is involved, or who has a better chance of getting out, or who doesn't? What are the situations that you're the most that you have the highest probability of being able to exit them?
So from a legal perspective, it's always about that legal binding contract, right? What does that contract say? Does it have a default provision? Does it have a term? Once we identify what the rights and obligations are for the individual, then we may have some negotiating power with the resort. We may be able to say, or to the developer or the association, depending on. See, this is another thing people don't understand. You're not just dealing with just the timeshare entity. You're also dealing with an owners association. You're dealing with the holder of whoever of the note who financed the loan. You could potentially be dealing with a management company that's running the resort. It's really this one consumer against 5 different entities sometimes. Mm-hmm. So it also depends on who we're negotiating with. If we're just negotiating with the owners association and it's a paid in full, that probably will be a little bit easier for us than if we're also dealing with a holder of a note and a debt collector and a management company. And so each individual situation, it's based on their specific facts.
Yeah. And so if they have debt against it, it's harder because you got to get the debt forgiven.
Right.
So you really have to have them on fraud or the proposal that they have committed fraud in some way for them to release all of that.
Either we have some tool that we can use from a negotiating perspective, or sometimes these resorts will allow a voluntary surrender, but of course there's usually some payment involved in that. Mm-hmm. They want some kind of money to take these things back in their inventory. But even once we get the individual out of the timeshare, it doesn't really stop there. We really need to get their credit report looked at. A lot of these timeshare lenders are incorrectly reporting to the credit bureau. Sometimes they're issuing tax documents, 1099s, 1098s. We need to take a look at those and make sure that they're properly reporting any canceled debt to the IRS. Mm-hmm. There is a lot involved.
But if there's no canceled debt, if I paid $10,000 cash or $20,000 cash for a timeshare and I want to get out of it just to get rid of the fees, you give up the money that you spent. That's just
absolutely.
Gone. That's just gone.
Yeah, I typically am never able to get money back without some type of, like we were just successful in an arbitration and getting a full refund, but it was because I could actually prove fraud. We actually had the handwritten notes of the individual's sales agent. So I was actually able to prove fraud, but that's very unusual and very rare.
Yeah, that agent got fired.
I'm sure he did, sir.
Yeah.
So, it really depends on the individual situation, what evidence I have, and whether I have somebody on the other side of the table that's willing to negotiate with me.
Timeshare owners have to say in their own words, a large number of documents were placed in front of us. We were not allowed to take the paperwork back to our room to review it further about making a decision. Additionally, we were not allowed to consult anyone other than the resort representative at the sales meeting regarding the contents of the document. They're trapped in the tiger cage. That's a standard deal. Yeah. And in this world today, consumers are so aware. I am shocked that these kinds of practices are still effective, but they are very effective.
Well, they are, and again, because you will spend anywhere between 2 to 6 hours with that individual, right?
Because you can't get away from them.
Well, they're friendly folk too. I mean, you're there talking with them all day, and by the end of it, a lot of our consumers have told us that they were just worn down and they were willing to sign just to get out of there. These are that statement you just read. That's from a. That person is willing to testify under oath under penalty of perjury. That's from a declaration. We've got hundreds of declarations from these people as well, too, telling us their timeshare truth. This isn't me telling you this. This is the voice of the American timeshare owner. That's what you're hearing. That's what we're hearing through the study, and that's who we're here to help.
So the message that we want to get to you from the Newton Group and from the Ramsey organization before these two step off the set here is, A, don't buy a timeshare. Period. There are no circumstances, none, by which this economically comes out to your benefit. You are signing up for God only knows what, and you're probably not going to get it, and you're going to get stuck, and you're legally bound, and you're signing ridiculous documents that are one-sided, and you're getting screwed. So just avoid the entire industry like the plague. Number two, if you are stuck in a timeshare, there are no magic pills. There is no easy way out. But sometimes, if you have the handwritten notes of the agent that committed fraud, then that one was a rare one. I would love to have been in the room when that happened. But if you've got stuff like that, or if you've got a way that you can do that, sometimes they can people like the Newton Group can really help you. The timeshare exit business is shrinking. Again, a lot of the players have been driven out of business. A lot of the attorneys that have done this for a living have been sued to the point they have been run out of business. Newton Group is standing, has been since 2003. Visit their website if you need some help with this, or if you just want to read the exit study results, timesharetruth.com. Timesharetruth.com. Thanks for dropping by, you two.
Thanks for having us.
This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. He's also the host of The Fine Print on Ramsey Networks, our latest podcast series, first season in the books, where you read the fine print, you don't get into trouble, which means that the next season of The Fine Print will definitely have a timeshare or 6 episodes.
I was just going to say, it might take a whole season just to get through it all.
My gosh.
There's so much.
There's so much fine print problems.
And the lack of fine print, too.
If you have a timeshare story, a timeshare nightmare story, or maybe you just love your timeshare, it's okay. We'll talk to you, too. We might make fun of you to your face. We'll do it in good nature just because we love you. But we help people that make mistakes all the time here. And the phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Now, George has dove in and in the last 5 minutes done in-depth research on the values that timeshares hold.
Yeah, here's what I did.
You got 5 minutes worth of research.
It took me 2 seconds. I went to eBay, went to completed and sold listings, and I found many, many timeshares that sold for $1.
$1, Bob.
$1, Bob. And so if that doesn't tell you it's a bad investment, I don't know what does.
I paid $10,000. I sold it for $1. This is how I got rich.
I'm not an investing guru.
I bought it for $25,000, and I never got to stay there.
For a sense of ownership.
And but I just knew that I just knew if I signed these documents that they would at least let me leave.
So instead of falling for the pitch, just go to eBay. If you want one that badly, just go to eBay and pay $1. There you go.
Yeah.
There's a money hack for you today.
So I wonder if what if we could figure out a way to get the emails or the text numbers of the people that are in the tiger cage while they're in there with a salesperson that goes, bing, you can buy this for $1.
I should stand outside and pitch it to them.
Yeah.
It's an even
better
pitch.
Get a little sign. And you could do one of those spin signs, George.
Yes.
$1 timeshare.
Get your $1 timeshares here, folks. Goodness.
Your career's just going down the tubes.
Well,
you know that.
I'm not surprised. I had a good run.
Oh, timeshare exit stories or timeshare problems here at 888-825-5225. Brown says the high-pressure sales tactics used to convince us to buy more points were exhausting and mind-numbing. It seemed to us that the process was designed to wear us down, so we would give in just to get out of the presentation.
Wow.
Also known as the tiger cage.
That's one strategy.
Yeah, just sign everything. Just, I want to go home. I promise I'll never come back. I'll never use the timeshare. I just want to give you money. Let me go. Oh, my God. How bad does the situation have to be? Mike is in Sacramento. Tell us your timeshare story, Mike.
Hey, guys. Great to be here. Appreciate it.
Sure. What's up?
I never bought a timeshare, but my future bride bought a timeshare before I met her. So I like to tease her about that. So long story.
Be careful. Be careful. She may remain future a long time. You keep this up.
I know. You got to tread carefully. But so she was, to give you the backstory, she was 22 years old at the time. She went into the lion's cage and the tiger cage, and she ended up buying a timeshare for about $17,000. At the time, it was, I think it was Trend West, which now is Worldmark or Wyndham or whoever it is. So fast forward 5 years later is when we met, and I had a lot of experience with timeshares because my dad had gone to these presentations. He was a pastor. He had 5 kids, and he loved Disney World. So he would always go to these presentations to get free tickets to Disney World. But he was a rock star in the sense that he never, ever bought one of these things. So I kind of had a front row seat to see how these companies operated. And everything that you hear on these things is absolutely true with the tactics and everything. But so I heard she had a timeshare, big red flag. I'm like, oh man, we got to look at this. So I'm the finance guy of the family. So I sat down and did the math. So basically they had financed everything. She didn't have any money. She's a first year teacher. So she's making maybe 28 grand a year, 16% interest on the loan for the $17K, right? So it's like a high-interest credit card, and they had to do a down payment. She didn't have any money for the down payment. Oh, it's no problem. We can finance that part too. So basically, when you do the math on this, so 5 years in,
if you finance a down payment, is it a down payment?
Exactly, right? Exactly. So her point system allowed her about 4 nights a year, more or less, and she never really used it because her system, you can't book it more than 30 days out. So the people that had the higher systems could book first, and then that left nothing for her, right? So, but assuming that she was able to use 4 nights, so 4 nights a year for 5 years, that's 20 nights, right? She spent $16K. So that works out to $800 a night, right, is the average of what this thing actually costs when you factor in the maintenance fees and the payment and the interest. So I immediately went into full blow. I'm about to make you throw up, right? This makes me sick. So I try to get rid of this thing. And as we all know, just like you guys said a second ago, you can't give these things away. I put it on eBay. I put it on Craigslist. I tried to give it away to some friends. And that's the thing, though, Dave. Like, I couldn't.
They're not friends anymore.
I couldn't get it in good conscience. I couldn't give it away because I'm giving away this crappy product. I couldn't do it. So they always tout these things as like the stress-free vacations, right, when you own these timeshares. So we paid it off. We put it on our debt snowball. I'm like, well, we can't get rid of it. We're just going to pay off the balance, right? We paid it off as quickly as we could. So now we own the thing. And we would use it every once in a while. But they call it the stress-free, like it's a vacation. You own it. You're like a kind of a big shot, right? They use all these words when they're selling this to you. But every time you go to check into one of these places, it's the opposite of stress-free. It is the most stressful experience that I've ever had, because you check in, you get your key, everybody's super nice, and in most hotels that would be the end of it, right? You go to your room and you go on your vacation. But in this place, you'd have to get your key, and then they say, "Oh, wait a minute, you can't leave yet. You have to go talk to the goober across the hall who's got your parking pass," right? So you bring your luggage across the hall.
Back into the tiger cage.
Back into the tiger cage. And this guy's your best friend, right? "Oh, where are you guys from? What are you going to do here?" You guys aren't going to believe this. We have a free breakfast. So you guys qualify for it. So why don't you just come to the free breakfast? Did you bring friends with you? Oh, you did. Perfect. Your friends can come to the free breakfast. Did I mention it was free? They'd say free, right? All these free words. "Oh, you don't want to go? Okay, well, I got free tickets for you for whatever you want to do." "Oh, that's not good enough. How about we give you $150? And so the first time you do it, you're like, "Oh, okay." It's an owner update, right? That's how they tout it. It's an owner update. We're gonna tell you.
It's an owner update upgrade. We update upgrade.
We're going to tell you. Exactly. They say we're going to tell you how to best use your vacation. And of course, as we all know, you go in there and all it is a high pressure sales tactic where.
Well, that's what I want someone to do, is tell me how to best use my vacation.
Wow.
George, I should tell you how to best use your vacation.
You do a good job.
Whitney would like that. She would like me telling you how to best use your vacation.
You're a good salesman, Dave. We might fall for it.
I'm not that good.
Yeah. Well, the best one was when we didn't go. One of the guys, this was like the final straw. One of the guys told my wife, I couldn't go to these. I couldn't even talk to the parking pass guy anymore because I would get so upset, right? So I would wait in the car.
That was the stress-free part of your vacation, when you got upset and waited in the car.
But she told my wife that she was being an irresponsible timeshare owner by not going to the owner update, right? And she threw down the papers and walked away. And I saw her do this.
You know what? I'm an irresponsible HOA member because I refuse to go to the meetings and watch the drama and those things. So.
That's no vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Unbelievable.
There's some silver lining, though.
So you still own it? You still own it?
Well, no. So I'm one of the few. I'm one of the rare few. So we owned it for 20 years. So she bought it when she was 22. We're 42 now. It ended up being, I did the math on this too, the total time using it cost us $429 a night if you average it all out, right? Which is still...
Not counting the time you took to calculate this.
Exactly.
You're worth more than that, Mike.
Yeah. So, oh man. So, but the silver lining, and again, I'm one of the few, it was buried in their website somewhere where they had an exit, they had a way out. I'm like, whatever, I'll try to do it. And truth be told, to give them credit, they did let me out. So
after 20 years.
It wasn't after 20 years.
Yeah.
They let you out of prison after 20 years.
Generous of them. I'm just saying. We got all we're going to get out of this guy after 20 years. So
he did his time in the prison. They finally let him out.
I did my time, Your Honor.
On probation.
I did my time. This is the Ramsey Show. An 81-year-old man claims in court that Diamond Resorts International, a timeshare club, defrauded him of $50,000 and keeps trying to get more. Lewis Wolf claims Diamond Resorts International Club and 6 affiliates used high-pressure sales tactics to open credit cards in his name, run up bills on them before plaintiff even realized the cards existed, and charge him more than $50,000 for membership services in Diamond Resort entities. Wolf sued Diamond Resorts on March 8th in Superior Court. He claims the abusive sales pitches on the phone and in person could last for 4 to 5 hours. And despite the sales pitches, despite the $50,000 they already took from him, he says it continued to harass him. Diamond International sends buses to seniors communities to take them to Nevada, and once they get a name, they will be nonstop with the phone calls. You can't stop them.
Yikes. This is unbelievable. And they're preying on these folks, busing them from the nursing homes?
Or you're preying on people who can't, who will fold to the pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy talked about his dad being a pastor, and he went in there and made a game out of it and got out of there. I don't, one of the things, I don't put myself in places where I have to be a butt to leave. I'm not intentionally. I mean, I have been there a time or two, but I don't say I'm going to go into this confrontational thing on purpose to get something for free just to, it's not worth it to me. I don't mind conflict when it's useful and takes you somewhere. I do conflict for a living. I'm a talk radio host. Come on. So, but this idea that I just think you're asking for it when you walk in there. And so here's the thing. You can go anywhere in the world and stay for $800 a night.
Yeah.
And choose. And when you walk up and you're paying $800 a night, let me tell you what they do. Anything you want. I've stayed at $800 a night places a time or two, and they treat you well. Without
any upsells and sales pitches.
And there's nothing. But Sharon and so we're playing golf in Cabo. We come off the golf course, and this guy walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, senor, how you doing? Hey, man, how you doing? Buenos dias." So we're talking, and he goes, "Hey, you want to play? You want to play for free?" And I said, "Well, we just finished. Thank you, though. I appreciate it." And he said, "Well, I can refund your green fees." And I went, "You can? That'd be cool." "Why are we doing that?" And he goes, "I just need to sit down and talk to you for a few minutes." I went, "Oh."
You could smell the tiger.
Now my wife, my ever cheap, wonderful, frugal wife says, "Honey, we should hear what he has to say." I said, "Honey, if you play with snakes, you will be bitten. If you go into the tiger cage, you will get eaten. I just played golf. I'm in Cabo. Life is good. Why do I want to screw up this wonderful day for the cost of the round of golf? If I didn't have the money to play there, I shouldn't have been playing there." Hello. So, oh my gosh.
Sharon would have done it for free just to hang out.
Sharon would have done it to get 2 nickels.
Yeah.
But and then she gets in the tiger. I see how these people do it, because she was ready to sign me up to sit and listen to Boy Child.
Oh, man.
It's not happening. It's just not happening. Sweet little guy, but I'm not listening to him. No, I want to go eat a taco. I'm not. No, thank you. No, thank you.
In the 4 hours, you could have actually worked and just made the money up. I mean, it's just insane. It's not worth it.
Oh, now wait a minute. Now you've gone to meddling.
I shouldn't be encouraging people to work for money. You're right.
All right, but we promised we would air it. Oh, she hung up.
Did we lose them?
Just as I was getting ready to go to the good timeshare call, Nancy from Oregon.
She had a good experience,
and she said she'd had a good experience, but I guess she didn't figure we were actually going to air it. We were. Well, I told you, if you had a good experience or a bad experience, we would air your call.
I think Kelly scared her off.
Kelly. It's Kelly's fault. It has to be Kelly's fault. Everything is Kelly's fault. Open phone, it's part of her job description. 888-825-5225 if you have a timeshare experience. When Karen Henderson of Orlando realized the points she'd purchased from Wyndham resembled a never-ending contract. You think? She felt that enlisting in its buyback program would ensure she wasn't stuck paying the increasing maintenance fees and that her daughter wouldn't inherit a money pit. But soon enough, her owner update meetings, there it is again, began to transition from buy more and better vacations to how to offset your mortgage. And she started dealing with lengthy sit-downs with multiple salespeople who she says pushed her hard to invest,
in quotes,
in the points, which we heard from Gordon Newton a while ago in the actual buyer's documentation, the disclaimer that no one reads, it's as thick as a Bible, that says, this is all the ways they're going to screw you. Read this. And no one reads it, of course. Who reads that stuff? I'm not reading that. But it says in there, the points have actual no monetary value. And we have just screwed you. And here's documentation stating that we just screwed you. And so we want to be real clear that this is all legal when we screwed you. And so it has no economic value. It doesn't. So here's the thing. But do the math like that caller a while ago from L.A. Add up what you're spending per night and go, is that an $800 room? Is that a $753 room? And I think you'll answer the question and go, nope.
That's rhetorical. The answer is always no.
Nope. Oh. I stayed at a place the other day, and it was supposed to be nicer than it was, and it was just a hotel. I mean, it was a nice hotel. Expensive. But it's still, I looked at it and I went, nope. that room's not worth that. And you know what? You know what that means? I'm not going back there next year because it's not worth that. I looked at the dollar and I looked at the room and I went, nope, those two things don't match. So last time I'm doing this, right?
And you can choose next time.
And you know what? I'm not under contract to go back there next year and the year after and the year after. And they're not going to raise my fees and they're not going to reference some extraneous contract that they've changed the rules on again to add to my deal here. Oh, Nancy's back. Good, we found her.
We got
her.
Okay,
good. We want to get to Nancy because Nancy's got a good timeshare experience. We should end on a positive note. Nancy, tell us about your good timeshare experience.
Yes, Dave, love your show.
Thank you.
Well, we've been pleased with ours for 15 years. I admit some of the things you've said are very true, but it's a kind of a buyer beware thing. But when we're all in and settled, which is usually pretty simple, like checking into a hotel, we find it consistently clean, love the kitchen, love the space, versus staying in a motel room.
So it's kind of a condo situation?
Yes, it is.
Where is it?
And we can use it numerous places. We've probably been to 50 locations.
50,
I would say, or close to it. Pretty close.
Wow,
maybe
you use
40,
it a lot.
But 40 to 50. We've gone 75 times, I would say, in the 15 years.
Wow.
We use it consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And feel like it does go down to our daughter, which may not work so well. I don't know if she'll be so thrilled. But it's certainly better than having a vacation home that sits empty and that you have to maintain. Mm-hmm. We found the maintenance wonderful.
Cheaper. It is cheaper than that. That's true. So since I've trashed all these other companies, what's the company so we can at least announce a company that someone's pleased with?
It's Wyndham.
Oh, it was Wyndham. Okay, because I've already trashed them. Good. Okay. Then there's one Wyndham customer that is happy. Nancy, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you for that positive note.
Yes, a good note to end on.
I got to call out. She said it's better than a motel. So that's the bar, apparently. It's cleaner than a motel.
Well, because she got a kitchen, and you can go in and make coffee, and it's like a little kitchenette or a little condo or whatever. That's good. But, obviously, she's done well with it. So, hats off to her.
Yeah.
And hats off to Wyndham. You made Nancy in Portland, Oregon happy. Well done. Well done. So 97% dissatisfaction, according to the study done by the Newton Group. So we found one of the 3%.
That's amazing.
That's but we can find anyone with this show. This show has unbelievable reach. 22 million people. We got reach.
We can get the 3%.
We can find you if you're in the 3%. But Nancy, thank you. All kidding aside, I appreciate you calling in and telling the truth. And we told you we would air both, and we did. So. Our rule of thumb as consumer advocates watching out for your money, stay away from timeshares. Real simple. If you need some help or you want to read that study, go to timesharetruth.com, check out the Newton Group, and they'll give you the lineup on the deal. It's that simple. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we talk about your life and your money. It is a free call at 888-825-5225. Some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. 888-825-5225. It's free. George Camel, as I said, is my co-host today. He's the host of The Fine Print and also the host of Leadership, the Leadership podcast. Both podcasts are very popular, and he's here to answer questions for you today. We'll be talking to you about your relationships, about your money, about your careers, about your mental health, about everything. We weave all of it together. It's called life, and we do it right here on The Ramsey Show with you every day. Carice is with us in Rockford, Illinois. Hi, Carice. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I just had a baby New Year's Eve. She was born 12 weeks early. She's currently in the NICU in Madison. And we found out that she has a rare disease. 1 in 100,000 children have that disease. It's a congenital disease, disorder of glycosylation. So basically, the doctors don't know for sure how long she's going to be there. They have to treat symptom by symptom. So I guess my question today is, I'm a teacher. I'm not sure exactly when to go back to work. My husband and I are on baby step 3. We had saved up our emergency fund, but we have about a month left of it before we are kind of out. So I'm not sure what to do when I have to be there daily.
I'm sorry. That's very hard.
Okay.
What's your husband make?
He is at $35,000 a year. So he brings in about $1,800 a month.
And how much vacation did you have from teaching?
I used it all up. It was about 6 weeks worth.
So now you're either back in the classroom or you're without pay.
Yes.
And you need to be there with the baby. So
yes.
you're going to be without pay. Yeah. And what do you make?
Yeah. I'm at $61,000 a year, which is about $3,500 a month.
Yeah. What's he do?
My husband is a mechanic.
Okay. Well, you are square in the middle of a hurricane, kiddo, and you knew that. You didn't need me to tell you that.
No.
So, how much is your house payment?
It's $1,500 a month.
How many other kids have you got?
We have 1 9-year-old.
Okay.
And that is, our house is our only debt. We were getting ready to be on baby steps 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
We were going to be doing that next. So.
Yeah. Okay, so what we teach folks when they're in a financial crisis and you're walking towards one is to take care of necessities first and only. And in your case, it's first. In your case, it is definitely only. So you start making a list of things in their order of importance. And so I'll help you. Food's first. Keep food in the house. Utilities are second. Keep the lights on. And house payment's third. And when you finish with that, you are already out of money.
Yeah.
With his income versus a $1,500 house payment. So your burn rate's really, really fast. How much you got left in the emergency fund?
I have about a month's worth. It's at $4,000.
About $4,000. Okay, and so if we keep the lights on and we eat and we pay the house payment, you got to put a little gas in the car to get to work. If we quit paying everything else, what would that be?
It would probably be, we had barely anything left after that.
I know, but if you don't pay anything else, there shouldn't be a lot of other necessities bills. Have you got non-necessity bills that you don't have any debt? That's good.
No, we don't have any debt. We just have our house payment. We have transportation. We have life insurance. And just paying the medical bills as they come in.
Don't pay any medical bills.
Okay.
Don't pay a medical bill right now. You can pay them later, but you're not going to pay them right now. Because I want to keep the money for food, lights, and shelter, and car gas. Okay. And make it last as long as I can make it last there. And then we've got to think about, and I don't know, George, if you got any ideas on what we can do to get some income coming in. Are you a member of a good church in the area?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I'd let your pastor know with a need. and
Okay.
see if they can't raise some money for you guys just to keep you afloat.
Okay.
You don't need.
They have done that a little bit for us to help us get back and forth to Madison because it's about an hour and a half drive. So that's been very helpful. We have really kind people around us.
No, that's good. Okay. Because, I mean, $10,000 changes this whole situation dramatically.
Yeah.
$20,000 changes it a lot. You don't need 100
Yeah. No.
to turn the corner here because you got insurance to cover NICU and you've got medical bills that'll pile up, and you can get to the medical bills later when you get back to $100,000 income when you're back in the classroom.
Right.
Okay. So fundraising is one thing that comes to mind. The other thing that comes to mind is you guys may have to figure out where can we get income, and it sounds to me like he's working extra to me.
Yeah, he does. He gets all the side jobs he can.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even
He's
more
only
now.
able to go up to Madison twice a week.
Yeah.
Are you
So-
both going, or is it just one of you?
I'm going 7 days a week. He's just going on the weekends when he's off of work.
What do you teach?
I teach 6th grade science.
Okay. Have you got the bandwidth emotionally? I wouldn't. But do you have the bandwidth emotionally take on a couple of kids to tutor at $25 an hour?
Possibly. Mentally, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go back to the classroom right now. Just
I don't
because
want you
there's
going
so
in the
much going
classroom.
on.
I'm just saying if you took 2 kids a week for 2 hours, that'd be a couple $100 a week.
That's true. That could help.
But it's if you can do it. I truthfully, I can't breathe, and I don't even know you. But I mean, little babies in NICU just puts my stomach in my throat. It just
Yeah.
And you guys are really facing some real challenges, and so I don't want to be unkind or anything. And this is not just you need to go get an extra job, Dave. That's not what I'm saying at all. I get it. I don't know if you can do that, but I'm just trying to keep you afloat. Because if you can keep the basics going, if you could come out of this and all you got's a pile of medical bills, and you're behind on a couple of odds and ends, because you got just enough in to supplement his income and keep the house payment paid and lights and water and food. You're going to be set up to turn this around financially really quick.
Yeah, we will too. We just don't want to go backwards.
Yeah. So I want you to stay on top of it because it's easy to stick your head in the sand during these times. And we'll be praying for you. If you need anything, you call us. We'll help you any way we can here, okay?
Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. On the phone in Dallas, Texas is Logan and Aaron. Aaron is with us. And here to do a debt-free scream according to my screen. How much have you guys paid off?
We paid off $119,424.
Way to go. How long did this take?
Right at 24 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
We started about 58,000, went up to 135, and now we're about 95,000.
Cool. Good for you. Very good. So what do you guys do for a living?
I'm a full-time firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a trauma ICU nurse.
Oh, wow. Very good. What kind of debt was your $119,000?
Well, unfortunately, we were very normal. So it was we had both of us had student loan debts that we kept putting off. So we had a bunch of interest with that. We had 2 vehicles. We had medical debt, a family loan, a lawnmower.
Uh-oh. How much you owe on your lawnmower?
I owed $3,500 on the lawnmower.
That's not as bad as I've heard, so I'm glad. That's still. I mean, that's as much as I borrowed for my first car, but yeah, nothing, no big deal. But yeah, oh my gosh,
it's
you
really
guys!
Nice.
How long
nice
have y'all
mower.
been married?
We've been married 10 years this past December.
So what happened 2 years ago that put you on this Ramsey journey?
Again, unfortunately, so when we got married, so like I said, 10 years ago, my father-in-law came to us and, or whenever I asked him to marry Erin, he said, you got to do 2 things for me. He said, you need to love the Lord God with all your heart, body, and soul, and you got to go through financial peace.
I like this man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the unfortunate part is he forgot to say that we had to do what the lessons taught. So
that was assumed.
So we kind of forgot that part.
Oh, no box checking. We actually have to implement. Yeah, okay.
You were Dave-ish.
Oh, not even. Yeah, you just went. You just anything to get the girl. I got you. I know what you're doing. All right.
Yes, sir. That's right. So we ended up in October of 19. I was going back and forth to Dallas. We live a little east of Dallas, and had a pretty good commute. So I started listening to the show again. And it was that point of I was stressed out. We had 2 car payments. Erin wasn't working at that time. I was absolutely stressed out. And it was just one of those, sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've had enough. And I came back and talked to Erin that evening. I was like, hey, we've been doing this wrong this whole time. Let's
finally do it.
And she was God was putting on my heart to let's do this again too. And it was game on after that.
Wow. So what did you guys do? Did you go back through FPU, read a book? What kind of got you back on track and motivated?
So I have a copy of Financial Peace, and I read that again. And then we did get Ramsey Plus again. Went through the lessons. Our church was putting on the class at the time, so we also got plugged in with that. I jumped on the Facebook group, which was really awesome just because we were able to get encouragement, get feedback, see other people's, questions and stuff. And that was really motivational for us in getting through that 2-year grind.
So the Ramsey Baby Steps Facebook group.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Yeah, okay.
They're awesome in there.
Yeah,
so what's this income jump? You went up to 135, back down to 95. What was going on there?
I went back full time as a nurse, and it just, not that like COVID was a blessing by any means, but they were in dire need of nurses, and so they were paying well. And we made the decision to put me back full time to help us get out of debt. That was one of them, and then we did a few other things.
We sold just about everything. The kids are basically all we kept.
That's all you need at the end of the day.
Yeah, oh, that's right. And I actually got several raises at work, and then Erin went to PRN, which is just a very limited part-time because she wanted to go back, be back at home. Her mom was battling ALS at the time, and she wanted to go back and be with her. So we were willing to take that pay cut going back down.
Yeah,
and just kind of
once you got free, yeah, for sure. Yeah, very cool. That's good. Well, the good news about nursing is you can jump in and you can jump out and you can jump back in. I mean, you can do whatever you need to do, and that's the beauty of her situation. And you guys just decided game on and knocked it out. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
My key and our key for it was, I have 2, was get mad at it. You have to get mad at it. You can't give up the fight. You can't get lazy. You can't look at what anybody else is doing. You have to look at your spouse, or if you're single, look at yourself in the mirror and say, we're going to do this. And then the second one, which is even bigger, is prayer.
Both of those are really good ways to get mad.
Yeah, that's right.
That's some of my best prayer time.
Yes, yeah. That's my thing was that it was just finding that why. because we had the head knowledge back from 10 years ago, and that really wasn't enough for us. And until we got our why and that sick and tired and just mad at ourselves for what we've, the situation we put ourselves in.
Well, in a sense, what you tolerated.
Yes, sir. Correct.
And you just said, and to Aaron's point, you have to reach the emotion and say, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. I'm not going to tolerate this situation. I'm not going to tolerate this behavior. I'm not going to tolerate these products in my life. I'm not going to tolerate life done this way. We're going to do it a different way. And when you reach that sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's a very good point. That when people finally say, I've had it, that's when they change their lives. That's good. You guys are powerful. You're very cool.
That's incredible.
How old are you two?
I'm 32.
And I'm 31.
And you're free. How's it feel?
Oh, irreplaceable feeling.
Yeah, I was able to go on a men's retreat the weekend after we got debt free, and it was amazing. It was the first time I hadn't been stressed out taking a trip my entire life.
And we've been called to be givers, and God called us early in our marriage, and we just always how are we going to get there? And now we see okay, we're going to be able to give like we've always wanted.
Wow. There you go.
That's big.
I love that. I love it. Very well done, you two. Very well done. We're proud of you. Great job. Who were your biggest cheerleaders outside the two of you?
Well, her dad and mom were very, very helpful.
Thankful that you're going to do it since he made you go through the class. Yeah,
that's right. Time. He's just so proud that we did it, and my folks helped us out as well. And then I've spent so many times calling our FPU leader, Dan and Cynthia Cool. They blew it out of the park, and they gave their story of how they worked the baby steps, and just the way they presented it just blew my mind. And that was a big moment for me to really kind of commit to this.
All right. Well, way to go, guys. We've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That's the next chapter in your outrageously generous story. That's where you're going to be. You're going to put yourself in a position you can give away numbers that you only used to dream of owning. And pretty good stuff. How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth. How you can, too. Our latest number one bestseller around here at Ramsey. And I'll send you a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give and disturb somebody's life with that. And give it away and mess with somebody a little bit. Proud of you guys. Very, very well done. Logan and Aaron in Dallas, Texas, $119,000 paid off in 24 months, making $58,000. She goes back to work up to $135,000. She decides no more after I'm debt-free, back down to $95,000. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
All right, we brought Lydia and Gabby, our kiddos, with us, and they're going to do it with us. All right, y'all ready? All right, 3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
This is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. This is how it's done.
They even sound adorable. That's sweet. Man.
They are adorable. We saw the YouTube pics for those of us that get to cheat that way. Cute kiddos. Oh, that's fun. Young family, change their whole family tree.
Amazing.
Change their future. They took control. They're not waiting on someone out of Washington to fix their life. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Jennifer is here along with her daughters, Mallory, Evelyn, and Julia. Welcome, guys. Good to have y'all.
Thank you.
Honored to have you. Where do y'all live?
Around Houston, Texas.
Okay, cool. Welcome to Tennessee. And all the way to Nashville to do a debt-free scream.
Yes, sir.
I love it. How much have you paid off?
$220,000.
Woo! How long did this take?
5 years.
5 years. And what was your range of income during that time?
We started at about 100 and ended at about 125.
Okay, cool. What do you do for a living?
I'm a special education teacher.
Oh, yeah.
My husband was an electronics technician in the oil and gas industry. He passed away in September.
Oh, my. Yeah. What happened?
He had kidney cancer. He was diagnosed in 2017.
Whoa. So 5 years of fight, huh? Or 4 years of fight?
Well, yeah, about 2.5. Sorry, I'm getting the years mixed up. But yeah, a few years. It was.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was a long time.
Yeah, long fight.
Yeah.
And so the girls and you guys have been, as a family, walking with him through that whole thing.
Yes.
And then the fight was over, and he had a graduation ceremony in September. Right?
Right.
Or is it September in the fall?
It's September, yeah, this past fall.
Okay. Wow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry for what y'all been through. There's a lot of good ways to get debt free. This is not one of them.
Not what we planned.
Not the way you want to do it.
We were on the road, and then we were able to finish it with his insurance.
Yeah. So how much life insurance was involved?
In the debt?
No, how much life insurance did you get?
Oh, $465.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
How old was he?
51.
Wow, young.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Whew. So you started the debt-free journey 5 years ago, and 2.5 to 3 years of it, you've also been fighting a cancer fight.
Right. And actually, we started, this is kind of my funny story, our funny story. We started listening to you, I started listening to you back in 2007. So we probably could have been standing on this stage about 5 years ago. I listened to your show. I read The Total Money Makeover in about 2 days. Went to my husband, asked him, if he would be interested in doing this. Explained it to him, and he was on board, except for putting the 401k money away. And so I said, okay, well, let's try it. And so we met with an ELP. Could I say his name on the air?
Sure.
Okay, Mark Pickle in Sugar Land, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and he was wonderful. We did the plastectomy, cut off the cards, and we spent the next couple of years getting rid of that credit card debt.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kind of fell off the wagon. Mm-hmm. We had some VW buses that we loved to go camping in. We had 2 more babies right back to back, and I went back to school, which we were supposed to be debt free before I did that, but I went back to school to become a teacher, and so. Then fast forward to 2016, when I got my degree, I got a teaching job, and then we decided to just go full on. And by this time, Dan was into doing it, 401k and everything, doing the full plan. So that's when we started teaching. I started teaching. I worked for Uber Eats, delivering food, and we started off our Gazelle Intensity by selling all of 3 of our buses, which was hard for us, and that's what kind of got us going, got the momentum going.
So that's when you got serious.
Yeah.
And then you start making progress. And so I'm guessing the 220 includes paying off the house?
Yes.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah.
What's the house worth?
Right about 2.
Okay. And talk about the level of peace that you have in a situation like this, where your 51-year-old husband goes to heaven, and you're sitting in a paid-for house with 3 teenage girls, because of the planning that you all had done, the getting out of debt that you'd done, and the fact you bought life insurance.
Yeah.
I don't think you can overstate the difference in your situation versus if that money wasn't there.
I can't even imagine if it had been different. And the funny thing is, well, not funny, but looking back, one of the things that we kind of argued about was, why do we need insurance? And this was before we were following you. It's that extra $100 a month or $140 a month. And but we were faithful about that. And if we didn't have it, we would be in a much different situation right now.
You would have made it, but it would have been a lot tougher. And right now, you have the financial room to give you margin to just grieve.
Yeah.
without having to worry about bills.
Right. And that was the huge thing. I'm actually, I've been struggling a lot with mentally, and just trying to keep everything going. We also lost my stepdad, and with 3 months later, so the girl's grandfather, and it's just been a rough time. So I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to just be a mom. And I'm going to go back.
And
I love teaching,
and you can.
And I can. Right.
Yeah. Give you the space to heal.
Yeah.
That's very real. Yeah. I'm so proud of you.
Did you guys have a good community that kind of came around you during this time?
Oh yeah, huge community. People from church, family, friends, coworkers. I mean, the support has been huge emotionally. It's just, and I'm a Christian, and I know God's plan is. We don't know what God's plan is, but
sometimes it's just not fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. Yeah, and I know I have God's peace in my heart.
Yeah.
And I know that I'll get through this. We'll get through this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still hard, and you struggle.
Hard.
The struggle
Unbelievably hard. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
And simultaneously, I'm so proud of him and proud of you for putting your lives together in such a way that you can go through something like this and, again, give yourself the margin. Yeah. So we usually ask people what the key to getting out of debt is, and in your case, it's life insurance. So we don't want to use this key. This is not the key you want to use.
Right.
It's not the process you want to use to become debt-free, house and everything, to be baby step 7 and take a year off. We want to do that for other reasons and go out in a VW bus, or something, right? But oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But in your case, the key is the preparation that you all had done by working the plan to get out of debt and by making sure you had the defenses, the insurances in place to take care of you.
And I would say if he were standing here with me, we were planning on being here together because we were, without the life insurance, we would have been at this place in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And communication was key because we did have arguments before. We weren't, not big arguments, but we just, once we started following the plan, once we started just really trusting the plan, and just I've listened to you guys every day. My kids are like, "Do we have to listen to Dave Ramsey again?" And
I don't blame you, girls. I don't like listening to me either.
They've seen, they've read all the junior books growing up, when they were younger, and so it was communication was key. Getting on the same page is essential, and just thinking about where we would be without it is scary.
Yeah. Well, life insurance is one of those ways you say I love you to your family, and clearly your dad and your husband, he was that guy who wanted to make sure his family was protected. And it's sad what happened, but we're here to celebrate with you guys and honor him, and we're just so proud of you.
Thank you.
Pretty amazing stuff. Well, got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you and Total Money Makeover, and those really don't matter in this situation. You just read them and enjoy them or give them away and bless somebody with them. Now, girls, I know it's been the hardest thing you could ever imagine you could go through. But, one thing you can always stand on when you look back, your mom and dad are both absolute heroes. Absolutely incredible. Powerful. And your mom's stronger than she thinks she is right now. She's like a warrior princess right now, so she's good. Well done, y'all. Very well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Dan. Good stuff. All right, it's Jennifer, Mallory, Evelyn, Julia, and Dan. $220,000 paid off in 5 years, making $100 to $125. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Not the way you want to get there. But you know what? This stuff works in good times and in bad times.
That's right.
This is The Ramsey Show. Camel, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Last week we launched the first stop on our Building Wealth Live tour. The response has been incredible. The first event is not yet sold out, but it's getting close. We'll be in Orlando, Florida, May the 19th. That's the first one. We're going to be talking about the hot topics of all the get-rich-quick schemes that are going on out there, and then how to really get rich quick. What is the fastest, shortest, quickest, easiest way to really become wealthy? And believe it or not, it's not get rich quick. Ha! Who would have thought? The energy in the room when we taught this back in January was over the top. It was Rachel Cruz, George Camel that's beside me, and we did this Building Wealth Live event here in Nashville. It sold out in 20 minutes on that one. This one in Orlando is, like I said, it's over half sold out. It's been on sale for like 8 days or 5 days or something. Dr. John Deloney and Ken Coleman are coming with us, and they're going to have some sessions as well. So this is a great bargain. Tickets are only $25. You can get a 4-pack. So bring another couple, bring some friends of yours, bring your parents, bring your grown kids and whatever. You can get a 4-pack for $60.
Wow.
It's kind of a BOGO type of a thing. This is a great deal. So, again, limited amount of tickets left in Orlando, already selling out. We're going to announce other cities coming soon. The Building Wealth Live Tour. George, it's going to be fun.
I can't wait. We had a great time here locally, and I'm pumped to go out on the road and go somewhere, see some real people.
Oh,
Can
real
you
people.
imagine?
Real people in a real auditorium.
And for $15, that's cheaper than a movie, guys.
It was
Come on.
25. 15 if you do a 4-pack. Yeah.
Which, bring some friends.
That's a great deal. RamseySolutions.com/events, and we'll get you all set up. Richard is with us in Tampa. Hi, Richard. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, I have a quick relationship question. I'm trying to convince my wife that we are ready to have children, but she keeps bringing up excuses. I don't know if they're excuses, but she says she doesn't have a career yet and that I'm not stable at my job because I change jobs roughly every 3 years. So my question is, how do I convince her that we are ready to have children from a financial standpoint?
How long have you been married?
We've been married for 3.5 years now.
Okay. Well, George just got his second French bulldog, which is more expensive than children.
And I'll tell you, it's everything you thought it would be. But, Richard, here's the thing. You said you change job every 3 years. What are you doing for work?
I am an IT audit manager, so I'm in consulting.
Okay.
What do you make?
Right now, I just got a raise, and I'm making $130,000 a year.
Okay. All right. This has nothing to do with financial and nothing to do with your income. She has some other reason that she doesn't want to have kids. And she's using a smoke screen because people that make $135,000 a year can afford to have kids. Okay, I mean that's mathematically just simply not true. Okay, and you change jobs every 3 years, you're not exactly unstable. You didn't change job 3 times in 3 months. You change jobs 3 times in your career. And she hasn't started her career. I mean, when are you going to start it? I mean, you don't have to start a career. You can do whatever. If you don't want to have kids, there's one thing. No one's requiring people to have babies. But you guys make enough money to have babies. So, and she knows that. I mean, if you told me you were making $13,000 a year, I mean, we'd have a discussion here, dude, about your job and as a provider and so forth. But you make $135,000 a year. You can afford to have kids. A lot of them, really.
I agree.
And throw in a French bulldog. I mean, you'll be all right.
Just for fun.
Yeah. But
have you asked her about her fears around this? I mean, beyond just money? Does she think that kids are just really expensive and that it's going to tamper the budget?
Yeah, I think there are some other reasons. So she thinks like healthcare is really expensive. Like through my job, it's like $10,000 a year to have both myself covered and to have both of us on the health insurance. And she thinks like having a baby, it's going to be thousands of dollars. So she's scared about that.
Yeah. How long y'all been married?
3.5, going on 4 right now.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 35, so I'm getting up there. That's why
How old is she?
She is 30 right now.
Okay. And how many brothers and sisters did you have, and how many brothers and sisters did she have?
So I am the youngest of 5 brothers and sisters, and she is the second of 4 brothers and sisters.
Both of you had lots of siblings. So,
yeah, one.
So
thing.
I don't know what's going on. I'll just answer this as the old grandpa of the group. With 7 grandbabies, babies are the best thing that happened to anyone, as far as I'm concerned. They're the best things that ever happened to me. The only thing that's better than babies is grandbabies. And if I'd have known how great grandbabies are going to be, I'd been nicer to their parents. But the so you know, but and no amount of health care or whatever, you're making $135,000, you're 30 years old. If you're going to have kids, y'all need to get with it. You're already late. You're already late. It's time to get rocking here. And so, you know, I think she's not. She may not even personally realize why she's really afraid, but it's not money. It's not the finances. Something else is worrying her. Something else is holding her back, and I don't know what it is. And I think you guys ought to sit down with a good marriage counselor, and not because I think your marriage is in trouble, but to get a good tune-up. Sometimes you need a referee to throw a flag, you know, and go, okay. Because if the two of you were just sitting with me at dinner, and you were like friends of ours, or you would be like kids of friends of ours, or something like that, I would just go, all right, I'm calling BS. It's not what it is. What's really going on? And she would go, no. I go, no, I'm still calling BS because you're lying. Guy makes $135,000 a year. You're 30 years old. If you're going to have babies ever, now's the time. $800 is health care. Welcome to Obamacare. I mean, it's what it costs. This is what you signed up for when you voted for him. So here we go. And so, you know, this is the deal. And boom. And you know, so decide now what's really going on. What are you really afraid of? Because she's really afraid of something, and I don't know what it is. But I would just be grandpa, and you can't do that from the husband position. It doesn't work.
I mean, you can show her on paper, on the budget, and say, "Hey, listen, we're going to be okay."
There's no sense in arguing a smokescreen objection. This is not the real objection, because it's not. It's so far off. It's such a slam dunk that you can afford to have kids. If anybody I've talked to this week can afford to have kids, it's you.
There's people way broke having kids.
You make freaking 6 figures. I mean, you know how long it was before we made 6 figures?
And we tell people, if you're in debt, it's okay to have kids. You don't need to wait.
I thought you were going to tell me all the ways you were broke or something. But no, there's something else going on, dude. And so I don't know how to coach you other than to say, get a coach in the room with you. There's somebody that both of you can trust to look at you and to draw those fears out and allay those fears or deal with them. Something else makes her feel vulnerable. She feels insecure and vulnerable, and she's blaming it on the money, but it's not money. There's something else going on. It may be the way you treat her. It may be your temper. It may be, I don't know. I don't have any idea what's going on, but something makes her feel vulnerable, that she doesn't feel safe. And because for ladies, money often is a safety language. It's a language of safety.
Security gland.
Big pile of money, lots of safety. No money, no safety. You know, but here we got a big pile of money, and yet we don't feel safe. So something else is going on. And that's my $2 insight, and it was probably worth what you paid for it. But, you know, this thing, he's very wise to ask the question, because this money stuff is so tied to relationships and is so tied to our dreams and our fears and our visions that when we can't get aligned on it, then we know something's going on.
Yeah. And there could be something outside of just their relationship where there's an insecurity there, or a fear about this big life change happening. And so I think unpacking that with a third party, that could be really helpful.
Yeah. And it's not to say you have to have children. It's not required. I'm a big fan of it, but it's not to say you have to. You can choose to not do that. And I love you just as much and help you just as much. And not say you're afraid of something, but just go, I choose not to. That's okay too. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. We'll talk about relationships, mental health. We'll talk about jobs and careers. We'll talk about money. We'll talk about wealth. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's your life, and it's right here on The Ramsey Show. Elizabeth is going to start off this hour. She's in Washington, D.C. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Awesome. So my husband and I, we're on baby steps 4 and 6. We live in D.C., but we're currently renting, and we own a property in Atlanta. So the current tenants that I have, their lease ends actually on April 1st, and so I'm trying to decide whether we should spend $2,500 for a property manager to bring in a new tenant, or if we should just go ahead and sell the house.
Sell it.
Sell it?
Yep.
Okay.
I love rental property. I hate long-distance rental property.
Right.
And you did not buy this house as a rental property. You used to live there and you moved to D.C. and kept it.
Yes,
So you're a landlord by default, not by strategy.
Right.
Yeah. What would you get if you sold it?
The realtor is actually going to list it for $285,000, and there's about $158,000 left on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you do with the profits?
So we would just buy a new house, probably in D.C., or just kind of hold off for maybe 2 years and decide where we want to be, whether it's like closer to family. But we have agreed that we don't want to go back to Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, there's no reason to keep this house. A lot of reasons to sell.
And I do have and I have one more question. So when it comes to long distance rental properties, when we get to that point, what would you consider too far to be a landlord?
And can I drive to it? Easy. I mean, I don't have any rental properties that are more than an hour apart.
Okay, gotcha.
They're all within 30 minutes of where I sit right here, but from one of them, the furthest away, to the other one, it might take an hour, but that would be with traffic. But yeah, I mean, I personally will drive by them once or twice a year, but our management team, I've got my own in-house property management because I own a lot of property, but they do quarterly inspections. They are constantly checking the property, and you can't keep your hands around it. Property requires a level of effort in order to keep it up, in order to keep it from getting destroyed, in order to, suddenly there's something happening over there with a tenant, and you went, what? They got 17 cats. What? And so, they're cat hoarders. Who knew? But yeah, so people do stuff, and so and that'll destroy a house.
Yeah.
So it's just you get the actual practical fact of landlording, and just being in proximity to it, you will do a much better job. Even if you're using a property manager, you'll do a much better job if it's in the vicinity, because you and your husband are out to eat, and you just say, "No, I'm going to drive down that street and just wonder what's over there. Oh, that's the house we own, yeah. And we're going to look at it and just get a feel for what's going on." I drove by one of ours the other day, and the bushes, they really need to be done. And I just like,
do you have your trimmers out there just going at it?
I didn't jump out of the car with my pocket knife, but no. But but yeah, I did place an order for that to be fixed when I got back to my house.
Good.
And got it back on the email. But I mean, that's, you just got to.
It's like a long distance relationship. I wouldn't choose one if I could. And so don't do that with your rental property. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Good analogy. All right, Diane's in Oklahoma City. Hi, Diane. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, my question is how to best put approximately $183,000 that I have in a bank account to work for my retirement. I've never owned my own home, and I thought about investing in a small condo. I currently rent a condo for $900 a month, a little less than $1,000 with bills included.
Okay. Now, that Oklahoma accent's coming through. Where are you from?
Overseas.
No. Australia or England? Which is it? I'm having trouble picking it up.
England.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, welcome to Oklahoma City.
Lovely.
It's a wonderful place. I'll be
Thanks.
over there in a couple of weeks hanging out with my friend Craig Groeschel. All right. Are you going to be there a while?
I plan to be, yes.
Okay. If you're going to be there 3 years or more, I would take that money and buy a condo for cash.
Okay.
That you're going to live in. You could pay cash for a condo for that, couldn't you?
Absolutely. I was hoping to just spend a little over $100,000 for one, and then possibly put the other somewhere else. And I need your suggestions on that. I know you really like mutual funds. So what's your recommendation? I have a small business, and I'm going to begin a SEP this year.
Good.
I also started my first Roth IRA last year, and I plan to do another one soon. But I know you're big on mutual funds. What would you recommend I do with the remainder?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, I'd max out your retirement accounts first, and then if you've maxed those out and there's nowhere else to go, you can put those in taxable accounts, and you can do index funds and mutual funds in there to let that money grow for you.
Yeah, just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Okay.
An S&P 500 index fund is where I park a lot of mine after I've maxed out everything else. And you got a paid-for property.
Okay.
You're sitting on what we call baby step 7. So everything's 100% debt-free. You got some money left over to invest. You're going to max out your SEP, max out your Roth, and in mutual funds. And then in addition to that, I would just use an S&P 500 index fund, what George is saying. So George is exactly right.
And make sure you've got your emergency fund intact and keep that separate from all this money.
Yep. Talia is with us in Portland, Oregon. Is it Talia? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, you did. Hi, how are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Okay, so I have a question. I feel like your advice would usually be to don't do it, so I need to confirm with you to either do it or not do it. So, a little background, I have $47,000 in student loans and $20,000 in retirement. It's $15,000 in a 403B, $5K in a Roth IRA, and I make $90,000 a year as a nurse. I have no other student debt. So I would never cash out this retirement, but I've had people suggest it, and they're like, just call Dave and see what he would say. $20,000 isn't a lot, but then I know there's like the penalty and all of that. So I just kind of want to know, like, yes, the advice still stands, don't do it.
It's
or
still,
if it
you know,
would
I
be
wish I
okay
could
in
say
this
you're special
situation.
today, but you're not. Don't do it. You're going to rob from your future, and you don't need to do that. You have a great income, and this is a shortcut, and it's not going to lead you to somewhere worth going when you have to pay this thing back and you rob from all the growth.
Yeah, when you cash it out, you're going to have a 10% penalty plus your tax rate, and you're sitting at about a 25% bracket. And so you're borrowing money at 35% interest to pay off student loan debt. No,
See, that's what I thought you might say.
Yeah, I'm fairly predictable because I say the same thing over and over again, and people still listen. It's just
Come on,
bizarre.
Dave. Shock us one
It's
day.
just bizarre. But now, I don't know who told you to call me because they obviously don't listen enough to know I say the same thing over and over again.
I hope it's the
I
same
say it
person.
over and over again so much, George says it.
Yeah.
There you go.
They call me a parrot for that reason.
Whoa.
There we
Wow,
go.
There you go. Well, you're my favorite parrot, George.
Oh, that's so sweet. You're mine too, Dave.
This is the Ramsey Show. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Well, obviously, the pandemic was a tough time for employers and employees. past couple of years has changed a lot for a lot of people, and it hasn't stopped. With the Great Resignation, inflation, everything else going on, workers are burning out left and right. Employers need to know how to help their stressed out team members so they don't lose heart. Our employee wellness team, Smart Dollar, just did a study that found out more than half of American employees worry about their personal finances every day. 55% to be exact. And 3/4 of them wish their employer provided more resources to help them manage their money better. So if you're a business owner, an HR leader, you need to check out this new research. The 2022 Smart Dollar Employee Benefits Study looks at everything employees and their financial health, their mental health in the workplace, whether or not they're getting ready to quit on you. If you're interested in keeping the good employees you have, you need to know this and you need to read it like right now. You can find the study for free at RamseySolutions.com/SmartDollar2022study. RamseySolutions.com/SmartDollar2022study. And you can download it for free. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your window blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, and the new promos all the time. Man, you'll save even more. Always use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. It's magic. Use the promo code Ramsey.
Today's question comes from Mark in Missouri. He said, I know you hate reverse mortgages, but my question is this. I'm 57 and my wife is 32. We have no kids. I was thinking of getting a reverse mortgage to enjoy my money while I can. Let's say I live another 20 years, then my wife inherits the house and lives there the rest of her life. Why shouldn't I get a reverse mortgage? Man.
Well, because, Mark, it's not going to work like you think it's going to work. You just picked up the high points that the sales job gave you, and you didn't get the reality. The reality is the interest rates that the reverse mortgages are calculated on are almost double what traditional interest rates are on a mortgage. The fees are more than double when you go to close on the reverse mortgage. They get you coming, they get you going. And the foreclosure rate on reverse mortgages is tenfold the national average for traditional mortgages. Wait. They're paying me. How could I get foreclosed on? And then when they run out of equity, by the way, it's only 65% of the equity that you can take out, up to 65% loan to value. And when you run out of the equity, then you still have to maintain the property even though you have no money. You have to keep the property taxes paid, the insurance paid, and the maintenance done. If you don't do any one of the three, the clauses in the document allow them to foreclose because the collateral is falling apart or getting foreclosed on for lack of insurance or lack of taxes paid. And so we're finding poor little widows like you're going to leave behind who entered into these things are now losing their homes at 4 and 5 and 6 times the rate that you lose a home in a traditional mortgage. Dude, you're trying to skin a cat the wrong way. This is not how you become wealthy. The way you become wealthy and make sure she's secure is you get the house paid off, and then you save up some money, and you live like no one else so later you can live like no one else.
Beautifully said. So the simple answer is, if paying off your house is the best option, then going into the reverse side and borrowing against your house is the worst option. And it's going to leave his wife in a lurch here because she's going to have to pay the full thing off if he dies before it's sold with all the interest, or she surrenders it to the bank.
Well, now, if it's in both their names, she'll be able to sit there in it until something happens. But a lot of these have call provisions in them. I got to tell you, it's a filthy business, and I would stay away from it. And it's bad products. The product design is not good for you.
And they go after all older folk. I mean, that's their target demo with these.
Yeah.
You see the commercials late at night.
Exactly. So that's another thing you can think about is this, okay? If your investment product or financial product is advertised on a cable channel right next to Snuggies and walk-in bathtubs, you probably don't want to do it.
Now, Snuggie is a good investment. Let's be clear.
Oh, I'm just saying, if that's where your financials, so you can just line up gold coins, you can line up reverse mortgages with washed-up actors, you can, we got the Fonz and we got Magnum PI.
Is it Tom Selleck?
Right?
Yeah.
And so, it's old time stuff. And so these guys I'm sure they're great guys. They're just bought and paid for, but I'm not mad at Tom or Henry, but love to meet either one of them. But I'm not buying the crap. And the little company that Tom endorses, they had an $800 million fine.
Wow.
How's
That's
that
scary.
one? Yeah.
That's some shady business right there.
That's some shady business. So let's not do that. Scott's with us in New York City. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Well, Dave, and yourself?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Good. I'll start with my question and then give a little background if I can. My wife and I are 42 years old. We own a vacation property, which is actually only 4 miles away from our main house. It's a waterfront property that we rent a little bit just to cover its overall cost. I own this property outright, and I'm curious if I should sell it to pay my main house off. So the house we live in right now, I have a $870,000 mortgage on it. It's worth about $1.4 million. The house that we're looking to sell is actually got a value of about $3 million right now. But I would have substantial capital gains because of the real estate market in the last 2 or 3 years here.
Wow. So your lake house is worth more than your house.
Well, considerably it is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's fun. I like that. That's
cool.
style. That's styling right there.
It really is a blessing.
So why don't you just move in the lake house?
It is a seasonal. It's a seasonal house, waterfront house. It is seasonal, and I also have my elderly parents that live with us, so we need a little more room to be able to accommodate them as well.
Okay. Well, you've got substantial wealth, which gives you a lot of options. What other money do you have? Whatever the money do you have that we could just get your mortgage paid off and keep it?
Yeah, so I make about $170,000 a year. I am self-employed. It fluctuates.
Do you have any money saved that is not retirement money other than these properties?
I don't. I have no debt, no car payments, no nothing. But no, cash on hand, very, very little, $5,000-$6,000.
Yeah. So you got a 7-year, 8-year journey to pay this house off if you keep the lake house.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I got a kid that's just heading off to college this year. I got a 14 and 13-year-old behind that one that's going to be heading off to college. But I'm set up to cash flow those colleges.
Okay.
Are you pretty tight financially with that $870,000 mortgage?
I am. Since COVID, I am. Typically, no. I've been been fine, a lot of cash flowing. But since COVID, I'm in the construction business, and we're busy as all heck. But the contracts, we were lucky to be very flush, but we've had contracts that, are 6-7 months old, and then it takes a year to build these custom homes. And with cost increases, really, really got out of hand.
Yeah.
Really got out of hand. So, yeah, it is a little tight right now.
Well, there's not a wrong answer. If it gives you more joy and more peace to dump the lake house and be 100% debt free and have a pile of cash during this tight time, that's fine. If you just would, if you would feel stupid for doing that, then don't do it. I mean, you can probably hang on without any trouble and get your house paid off over a period of years and hang on to the house. It is, it's weird that your lake house a few miles from you is worth 3 times what your house is. That's just a little strange in your portfolio, but it's not the end of the world. I love my lake house. I'm not selling it, so you can do whatever you want to do. But in your case, you're asking the question, which makes me kind of think you may want to do it, but it's up to you. You don't have a financial reason driving this one way or the other. It's a personal call.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000. All thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones as we talk about your life and your money. 888-825-5225. Ruben is with us in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hi, Ruben. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Mr. Ramsey. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can I help?
Fantastic. First my question, and I'll fill in a couple blanks. I am getting ready to go into a new field. It's life insurance. I'm getting ready to take my state exam. I've been studying for the last month. And this is final expense insurance. And I'd recently heard on one of your shows you kind of had spoken against whole life insurance. This is really a brand new landscape for me, so I really don't have a lot of frame of reference. I guess I just want to make sure I'm getting into something that's, noteworthy and, going to be something I can stand behind. The insurance company I'm getting ready to pair with is called Lincoln Heritage. So that's kind of what's going on currently. Just a little background, like on a personal. I'm 44, just turned 44. I am on my just over 2 years clean from a 20-year heroin addiction.
Wow.
Definitely a late bloomer here. I had a dependency issue with chemicals for a long time, jails, institution, and then finally death. I was revived. I ended up going into a faith-based recovery program and totally got healed, set free. And Jesus is my Lord and Savior. Thank you, Lord. Second chance in life, I really feel, and I just want to, I'm trying to. It's more than just about money to me. It's about breaking generational things. I've got children. I just have so much to be thankful for. So much riding on all of this.
Yeah, wow.
I have a great church.
Wow.
I've been plugged into, and they were the ones that first exposed me to your podcast and to Baby Steps. Actually, I lost my job right before Christmas.
What were you doing?
And I was actually selling for budget blinds.
So you're a people person.
I love it.
You love
honestly,
people.
Just going into people's house and just kind of connecting with them. Sometimes I really felt like the secondary reason I was there is to help them with window treatments or whatever. But yeah, it was definitely fulfilling. And
well, you're a hero, Ruben, man. I'm proud of you. Way to go. So let's do a couple of things. This is a decision you have to make. You don't make it because I said to. You've got to gather facts.
Sure.
But you're calling me and saying it bothered you that I tell people not to buy whole life, and you're signed up to become a salesman for it, so that's throwing you off.
Well, I guess it's industrial life, right? Because it's final expense insurance. So I don't know if it's one and the same. I have no idea. I mean, I do have an idea in that I'm studying. I understand that whole life is different than industrial and final expense insurance.
Does the insurance that you're selling have a cash value?
It does.
Okay. Then it's a type of whole life or cash value product. There are various types. I mean, there's universal life, there's variable life, there's whole life, there's industrial. I mean, but anything that has a cash value in it is where I'm going to have a problem. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm not going to end this call. I think you're an amazing man, and I don't want to end this call trash your dreams of what you're going for your career, but I'm going to give you a whole bunch of stuff to work on and decide for yourself. Number one, I'm going to give you a copy of Ken Coleman's new book, From Paycheck to Purpose, because that's the move you're trying to make. You're trying to get into something that has meaning and purpose because your life has a whole fresh start. You're seeing things with cleaner eyes than you have ever seen because of your journey, and it's a wonderful place in your journey that you are, and we want to assist you in that. And so that book is in case I talk you into quitting before you start. Okay?
Okay.
So right. The product, the reason I don't like the product is this. The way it works mathematically is not a good deal for the person that buys it. And I'll explain it to you, okay? Whole life traditional cash value insurance is 20 times more expensive for the same amount of coverage of life insurance. And so let's say you were going to buy a $200,000 policy. If it was $100 a month for whole life, it would be $5 a month for term insurance.
Right.
Okay. Now, where does the other $95 go? Well, it goes to build up this cash value inside the policy. It's a savings account inside the policy. In and of itself, that's not a bad problem, except that the fees are ridiculous in the whole life world. Now, I don't know the particular product you're selling, but the typical whole life policy, the first 3 years, your cash value buildup is zero, which means they kept your $95 a month that you put in a savings account. It was worth zero. Upfront fees. Okay? The second thing is the rate at which the money accrues is somewhere around 1.2% according to Federal Trade Commission studies. The rate of return on your savings account sucks as a long-term investment, and this is a long-term play. And the third problem is this. When you die, after paying $95 extra per month, $5 bought the insurance, and you're paying $95 extra for savings, they pay the face value of the policy, in this case $200,000. So if you've built up, after you got through the 3 0 years, and you got a horrible rate of return, and you keep putting 95 in there, and you built up $20,000 in cash value, and you die, they send your beneficiary, your spouse probably, $200,000. What happens to your $20,000 savings account that sucked? They keep it. And so this is like going down to the bank and opening a savings account that the first 3 years you put money in it, they keep your money. After that, they give you a lousy rate of return, and when you die, they keep your money. It's a horrible way to save money. And so consequently, the people that you're talking about going to work for hate me with a vengeance because I tell people not to buy what they sell every day and have for 30 years. The particular product that you're in or that company I'm not even familiar with, but I'll guarantee you that their face is going to turn inside out and explode when you just mention the name Dave Ramsey. So don't mention it because it won't do any good. We don't want anybody's head exploding.
I'm not going to make friends like that.
Yeah,
right?
It's not. If you're going to quit, just quit. Do it with class. You don't have to go in there and try to change them. You're not going to change them. They're going to keep doing it. They've been doing it for 100 years. So lastly, what I'll do so that you can review this material in detail is I want to sign you up for Ramsey Plus, which is the Financial Peace University class, an EveryDollar app. In that class, there is an insurance lesson that goes into detail on the life insurance portion so you can learn in detail what we teach about life insurance. And you can't dispute it because it's just math. It's a fact. And so consequently, no financial planning people, unless they're in the insurance business and call themselves financial planners, no one in the financial world pushes cash value life insurance anywhere unless they sell it. There's no independent financial people that push the stuff. They all say, buy the term insurance for $5 instead of the cash value for $100. Do your investing with your $95 difference anywhere else but inside of a cash value policy. You're better off putting it in a fruit jar in the backyard. At least the family can find it and it's there when you die. They don't keep it.
Yeah, it's trying to be investing and insurance at the same time, and it's terrible at both at the end of the day. So if I'm selling this thing, I'm going to have a moral problem knowing how much I know. So ignorance was bliss until now, Ruben just learned a little too much about whole life. I think he can find a better job out there if he loves sales, if he even loves insurance. That's a noble thing to sell, but not whole life. I would stay away. And these companies are like a Northwestern. You know, it's your buddies from college that want to make a big commission off you.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah, it's and again, I tell you never to buy it, and I know I'm kind of bursting your bubble in the middle of you having this whole recovery journey and everything, and I don't want to do that. I want to say you're a hero. I'm proud of you. You and I are going to be friends even if you decide to work there. So I'm just, you stay with it, buddy. But hang on, Kelly will get you the book for Ken Coleman, and we'll get you signed up for Ramsey Plus. I'm not charging you a thing for any of this, and I'm not going to keep your money when you die.
No
this
commission.
Is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Psalm 94:19. When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. Mark Twain said, a man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. That's pretty strong.
I like that one.
That'll do. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. TJ is with us in Lima, Ohio. Hi, TJ. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Dave and George. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Yeah, so I got a question about whether or not I should pay off the remainder of my car this month or wait until next month. So I'll give you the situation in brief. First, I want to thank you guys. When I started this process about 14 months ago, I was making $45,000 a year. And within 2 months, I started making $60,000 a year. And just today, I just got an offer to make $100,000 starting next month.
Wow!
So, good for you.
I paid. Yeah.
Good for you, man. That's killer.
28. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a little shaky, to be honest with you. I paid off $28,000 in the last 12 months. And this week, I'll be able to have the funds to pay the remainder of the car off, which is $2,638. Now, the question that I have is, if I pay off the car this month, I'll be making next month a little tight financially until I get my first paycheck at my new job. So the question boils down to, do I go ahead and pay the car off, or is it okay to dip into the emergency fund as a gap fill? Now, I'm kind of conservative, so I think I should pay off the majority of it and then pay the remainder after I've secured that first paycheck. And my wife thinks it's okay to dip into that emergency fund, so I'd like to hear your thoughts.
What's your car payment?
It is $408.24 a month. But like I said,
how much do you have in your emergency fund?
$1,000.
Oh, okay. Just making sure you're doing this right, because you're acting like there's a lot of money in there.
And on top of that, you'll be able to pay off the car, but you'll have $1,000 to your name for a short period of time.
Correct. So
I don't understand why you're gonna. I don't understand why you're gonna miss a paycheck changing jobs.
Well, I don't anticipate that I will, but there might be like this job right now pays weekly, and I don't know if the next job will pay biweekly or semi-monthly, whatever. But I didn't know if I should pause just as a security blanket or just go forth and assume the best, I guess.
Does your wife work outside the home?
No, my wife is a stay-at-home mom with our 2 little girls, and she actually watches 2 kids to help with income as well.
Mm-hmm. And what does she make doing that?
Right at $2,000 a month. Mostly she uses her income to pay for food, household supplies, things of that nature. And we're really using my income to tackle large bills like the mortgage, the car payment, the debts, and then also attack the debt pretty heavily.
Gotcha. So your conservative nature is what's making you assume that you're going to dip into the emergency fund. We don't really know that you're going to have to because you really don't know how the new place is structured yet.
Correct.
So let's find that information before we make the decision.
Okay.
So, let's pretend there's no change, that you go from one paycheck to another. Then you would have just paid off the car now, right?
Right.
But let's pretend there's a $2,000 gap between the time you get paid and now, and the change over, and you only have $1,000. Well, then having paid off the car would have been silly because your kid's going to be hungry.
Right.
So we need to work from facts on this as to what's really going on. But I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, a normal transition would be we pay in America, generally speaking, for the work that is completed. In other words, you work and you get paid at the end of the work time. You work and then you get paid at the end of the work time. And so if you work and you get your final paycheck and the next week you go to work at the other place and it's 2 weeks and you get a paycheck, you're not going to miss a check. You're going to miss a weekly hit, but you're going to have 2 weeks of pay. If you can sit down and look at that and go, well, with my wife, with keeping the kids, with that income, we're easy. It's no problem. I think that's probably what's going to happen, unless there's a start date that's pushed out on the new place after you leave the old place. Now, you could leave a gap in the middle there, right?
Right.
But, I mean, I think we need to figure out exactly where you are.
I was going to ask the employer, hey, when is that first check going to come in for planning purposes? And we plan from that. But you're not going to have a car payment either, so you're going to need less money once the car's paid off.
Well, it's only $400 swing, but so it's not a $2,600 swing, it's a $2,200 swing. And we got $2,000 coming in from her, $1,000 sitting in the account. I think you're going to be okay, but I don't want your kid to be hungry. But also don't want you making decisions that are just based on the fact that, I'm kind of conservative. No, we'll get the car paid off. I don't care if you're conservative or not. But let your conservative cautious turn into wisdom and say, we're going to gather this information from the new employer, match it with the old employer pay, and here's the gap, or there is no gap, and then you can make your decision.
And we're going to live like we did not get a raise because we have an emergency fund to build up as soon as this debt's paid off.
Yeah, just keep plowing on through. Keep working your baby steps for sure. So well done. Jenna's with us in Wisconsin. Hi, Jenna. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Hey, I was just curious, is it wise for my husband to quit his public works job in order to continue an already in business working cabinet making company, especially with concern for the future and market and the current economy costs?
Yes. He should go be self-employed.
I should preface this by saying we are on baby step number 2. So far, we have paid off $210,000 with $55 left to go.
Way to go. That's awesome. I'm assuming he's going to make more, though. You're assuming he's going to make less. Which one of us is right?
Well, I think there's security in with this public works job as far as its
No, there's
salary
not.
is $47.
No, there's not. Some goob over there has to make payroll. Security in the workplace is mythology.
What's he make at his current job?
So his current job in the public works job, he makes $47,000 a year.
What did he make last year on the cabinets?
And then last year his net profit was $40,000. But
cabinets.
That wasn't full time. Yeah, that was just part time.
That was part time. So he's going to do better if he just increases his time spent on the cabinet business.
Correct.
It sounds like he's not scared of work either. So I feel pretty good about the security of him being self-employed.
Sure. Yeah. And the other thing is that I was trying to, for the future, like this fall, if all of the interest rates go up, I guess I was just kind of nervous that way.
He's going to double his income.
Yeah.
He's going to double his income. He can make $100,000 next year.
Sure. I mean, we do have $40,000 of face frames and lumber sitting in our garage because of orders. So, yes, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I guess,
I think he can clear 6 figures with this new business and get you guys out of debt even faster.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Jenna, we're big believers in self-employment when you've got a real gig going. This guy's got a real gig going.
He does.
What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to confuse. I don't want you to say, I'm willing for my husband to make half as much working for the city as he can make working on his own, and call that security. That's not security. Sure. Now, the city's probably not going to go broke. They're probably going to keep paying him. They may not lay everybody off, but they might, too. They have before. It wouldn't be the first time that the city had a layoff. And so, but don't make half as much as you can make in the marketplace and call that security just because somebody else is writing your paycheck. His ability to get up, leave the cave, and kill something and drag it home has been proven.
That's true.
He's a smart guy, and he's a hard worker. Now, I do want you guys I want to coach you up. I'm going to send you a copy of the book, EntreLeadership, because I think this guy's really good at making cabinets. His next step is to learn how to run a business. It's a different skill than making cabinets. And if you're going to be bringing in a net profit of $100,000 a year, you got to run a business. And so he needs to get into that. I'll send you a copy of our book, How We Run Ours. It's called EntreLeadership. Thank you for calling in. George, good show.
Good stuff. Thanks, Dave.
That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.